Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Leela and I love to read queer, trans, and feminist literature. And in today's vlog, I'm gonna be reading Disappoint Me. I actually first heard about Disappoint Me via a personal recommendation from Tori Peters when I went to the launch of Stag Dance earlier this year. In the signing line, I told her that I really connected with a part in Detransition Baby where a character expresses not really wanting to be part of a scene and longing to be just like a basic mom. And Tori Peters said, oh, well, if you connect with that, there's a new book coming out that I think you would like called Disappoint Me by Nicola Dinan. And she was so generous with her time and it was just so sweet. So I immediately pre-ordered it from Hive Mind Books. If you didn't know, pre-ordering books helps to support authors because it shows a sense of demand for a forthcoming book. And of course, supporting your local independent queer and trans bookstores is the best way to do it. So I've been really looking forward to this. I picked it up the day it came out and I just started reading it. I had been in a bit of a reading slump and Allie, my girlfriend, observed like, this book got you out of your slump, and like I love it. I'm about 70 pages in now and I'm really loving it. It feels like a breath of fresh air. Like I just love a sprawling literary fiction novel that draws me in and is well written and explores interesting themes and relationship dynamics and class and politics and is queer and trans and deals with race, and this book is all of that. And so I just love it so much. I'm loving this book. The protagonist is 30. She has aspirations of being a poet. She works as a lawyer at a tech company impersonating AI, and she's been a bit messy. She's had issues with like substance use and she had a breakup, but then she starts dating this new guy who, at least at this point, seems to be like perfect boyfriend material in that like he would please her parents because he's also Chinese and a lawyer. And this book is set in London. And the sort of hook here says, an electrifying story of love, betrayal, and the complicated allure of bougie domesticity. And the first blurb is Tori Peters. So I will keep reading and hit you back with my next update. Hello. So it is a few days later and I have been tearing through Disappoint Me. I'm on page 230. I am really enjoying this book. I was a little bit gagged that Detransition Baby is actually explicitly referenced in Disappoint Me. It just still feels like such a recent release that I was like, what is this doing in this ultra contemporary novel? But Detransition Baby has established itself as a contemporary classic, so it totally makes sense. And I do see how these two are very in conversation, especially in terms of that theme which caused Tori Peters to recommend Disappoint Me to me, of the desire for assimilation into bourgeois, mainstream, quote-unquote normal, heteronormative culture. I was also a little bit gagged that the characters go see the Hunger Games movie because my girlfriend and I have been watching the Hunger Games movies as we've both reread the series recently. I'm really personally interested in the protagonist, who's a poet by vocation working as a lawyer, and the text's exploration of this sort of perceived conflict between law school and the arts, or going to law school versus studying writing, because that is something that I personally went through in a big way. I was planning to go to law school, but then during the pandemic had a sort of personal crisis and was like, no, I really need to follow my dream and my passion and get my MFA in creative writing instead. And I did that. And so I let go of the law school aspiration, which felt very significant to me in the context of my immigrant family generational history. And that is a theme that is also explored in this text in a really interesting way. In my opinion, I really love the exploration of the relationships between the characters who are in their early 30s and their parents, and the exploration of immigration across generations. The stakes in this story are so high and feel like they just keep on rising, and so many dramatic plot events have occurred at this point. Like, these are some of the dramatic plot elements that have been introduced: heart attack, baby, cancellation, tumor, affair, abortion, hate crime, past shame. So that is a lot, and I'm interested to see how it's all gonna come together in the end. I am really enjoying this read. Hello, I have finished Disappoint Me and I'm here to give you my final thoughts. It was really compelling, like I was turning the pages. A line that really stood out to me as very relevant to the theme being explored in this book of the desire for acceptance into bourgeois slash normal whatever society is, I'm granted entry into the house and it is hard to feel good about it. To me, that speaks to this idea that achieving the desire of acceptance into, let's say, the bourgeoisie or normal whatever culture isn't necessarily satisfying, because what is that really? Ultimately, it's just white supremacy. And if you're excluded from that, but then you're accepted, it's in spite of your deviation from it. And I think this character feels that. And so I felt that too. And it was inspiring me to reflect on, what is my desire for normalcy, for acceptance? And like, what would be the cost of that? It would basically mean cutting away or hiding or suppressing everything that causes me to deviate from the white supremacist, cis heteronormative ideal. And I feel like for me, it's like, what am I really craving when I'm craving acceptance? It's love and belonging. And I experience love and belonging in my true relationships, like in my queer relationships and my friendships. And something else that this book was inspiring me to reflect on is that nobody actually aligns with that ideal. All of these characters are flawed. And I think that is like what this book ultimately reckons with towards the end, like these questions of, are people bad? Like, if you do something bad, does that make you a bad person? Can people be redeemed? Should people be forgiven? And the protagonist's father is sober in AA, and they have this moment of sort of reconciliation and healing at the end. And I'm happy for them, but honestly, personally, that pissed me off because I will never have that. And I feel that the theme of forgiveness has been preached by Christianity, and I personally am tired of the moral virtue of forgiveness, and I personally crave a story where she kills her dad. That would be a totally different book than this though. So I've added to my TBR the book Bad Nature by Ariel Courage. I heard Sunny of a Sunny Booknick talking about this and saying that the protagonist is on a mission to kill her dad, and I was like, I'm in. So hopefully she actually does it. But anyway, back to Disappoint Me. She also forgives her boyfriend, or I think it's implied that the protagonist is going to forgive her boyfriend for something that he did in the past. And I'm like, whatever. Like, I personally agree with what I think the message of this book is, in that I don't believe in bad people. I don't believe in good people either. I believe in the effects of our actions and in choosing in each moment to make the best decision possible. But I'm just kind of tired of forgiveness as a moral. But yeah. Something else that I thought was interesting about this book is the line, identities don't mean much to me outside of their relationship with the material. And if I'm not performing queerness, if what I'm perceived to be is just a woman and one who isn't trans or gay, then where does identity really take me? What cause does it serve? I find that to be an interesting thought in regard to gender theory, and also connects for me to the fact that this book, in my understanding, is very full of the material and the body. Like, there are, in my view, a lot of descriptions of the bodily, like experiences in the body, which were evoking to me like sort of, is it Samuel Beckett? And I was like, sitting with my bourgeois discomfort in those moments. Overall, I really appreciated this book. I really enjoyed the story. I would love to see this book become very successful, and I would love to see more books like this become successful too. I love seeing a plurality of trans voices and experiences represented in literature. So yes, let's go more trans literature 2025 and forevermore. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I would love to know what you are currently reading. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.